Centuries ago, mortally wounded soldiers walked away from brutal battlefields completely healed by a single drop of plant resin. Sounds like a myth, right? But this wasn't magic. It was the raw, unadulterated power of nature, ancient medicinal plants that once saved countless lives, before human greed wiped them from existence forever. Welcome to Evening Chronicles. Today, we begin our special series exploring the legendary healing plants that once truly thrived on our planet, only to vanish into the pages of history. Before we begin this journey, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Now, let's step back in time and uncover the secrets of the past. Number 1. The Blood-Binding Vine. Deep within the rugged, mist-shrouded mountain ranges of northwestern Asia, there once grew a remarkable climbing plant known in ancient chronicles as the blood-binding vine. While old manuscripts romanticized it as a gift from forest deities, the reality was far more fascinating. It was a triumph of extreme biochemical adaptation. Unlike typical vines that strangle host trees, the blood-binding vine favored the mouths of damp limestone caves and harsh alpine environments where sunlight was scarce. Its appearance was unassuming, dry and brittle at a glance, with grayish-green leaves. However, its true value lay hidden within. When the rough bark was peeled away, it secreted a thick, deep crimson resin that looked uncannily like fresh blood. Over 1,000 years ago, during an era of sweeping imperial conquests, military campaigns across these mountain ranges left countless soldiers suffering from severe, often fatal slash and stab wounds. It was during this desperate time that local indigenous healers discovered the extraordinary properties of the vine's crimson resin. Scientifically speaking, this resin contained exceptionally high concentrations of natural coagulant proteins, alongside organic compounds that acted as powerful local anesthetics, effectively numbing severe pain much like modern-day morphine. When applied to an open wound, bleeding stopped in a matter of seconds, and the agonizing shock dramatically subsided. Word of this botanical miracle eventually reached the imperial court. The emperor quickly declared the vine a royal medicine, heavily restricting its use from the common populace and reserving it exclusively for the imperial army. Thanks to the blood-binding vine, the empire's military marched from victory to victory, suffering remarkably low casualties from battlefield blood loss. However, nature exacts a price for everything. The blood-binding vine grew at an agonizingly slow pace, requiring between 50 to 70 years just to reach a maturity level capable of producing usable resin. Driven by royal greed and endless warfare, collectors violently stripped the mountain vines bare, tearing them up by their roots without allowing time for natural reproduction. Within a few short decades, the vines became critically scarce. To make matters worse, a severe microclimate shift struck the region, bringing a decade of unrelenting drought and melting alpine ice. Deprived of the glacial meltwater and freezing humidity they desperately needed, the remaining vines withered and died under the relentless heat. Despite massive imperial bounties offered for their discovery, the blood-binding vine was reduced to mere ink sketches on decaying parchment. Today, paleobotanists examining ancient cave soils have occasionally recovered fossilized pollen grains of the vine, silent proof of its once living existence. Had ancient civilizations practiced sustainable harvesting, we would possess one of nature's greatest natural antiseptics and surgical aids in modern medicine. Instead, the blood-binding vine remains a ghost of history, lost forever to human ambition. Number 2. The Ash-Covered Stone Mushroom. Moving further into the pages of history, our next lost botanical treasure isn't a leafy green plant or a towering tree. Instead, it was an extraordinary extremophile fungus that thrived in one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Ancient texts referred to it simply as the ash-covered stone mushroom. Centuries ago, deep in the middle of a vast ocean, lay a volcanic island chain perpetually blanketed in thick plumes of sulfurous smoke. Beneath its jagged surface, molten lava bubbled endlessly, hissing as toxic volcanic gases escaped through deep fractures in the earth. In this toxic wasteland of acidic volcanic ash and extreme heat where no ordinary life could survive, the ash-covered stone mushroom wove an invisible underground network. Its appearance bore no resemblance to ordinary mushrooms. Instead of a delicate cap and stem, it grew as hardened, sponge-like clusters clinging tightly to blistered volcanic rocks. Its outer crust was as pitch black as charcoal, yet slicing it open revealed a glowing, gold-tinted interior. Rather than relying on sunlight, it survived through chemosynthesis, breaking down the raw mineral compounds spewed from volcanic vents. One day, a catastrophic plague struck a magnificent coastal empire nearby. Those infected suffered soaring fevers within hours, followed by painful black lesions erupting across their skin, ultimately leading to respiratory failure and death. Imperial physicians exhausted every remedy in their arsenal, yet the relentless bacterial infection defied all cures. Fate intervened when a merchant vessel, battered by a violent storm, washed ashore on the forbidden volcanic island. Several merchants, infected and on the verge of death, grew so desperately starved of food and water that they began consuming the strange black mushrooms clinging to the stones. Miraculously, by the very next day, their skin lesions began drying up from the roots, their fevers broke, and they escaped certain death. When the survivors were eventually rescued, they brought back the secret that would save an entire empire. From a biological standpoint, this was no magic spell. The mushroom possessed a powerful natural antibiotic born from its brutal volcanic battleground. Far more potent than modern penicillin, its inner core contained heat-resistant enzymes capable of destroying the cell walls of disease-causing bacteria in mere seconds. Tragically, the emperor's realization of the mushroom's power triggered its demise. Massive fleets and armies were dispatched to strip the volcanic island bare. Failing to understand fungal spores or underground mycelium networks, the collectors ripped up the soil by the roots, obliterating the fragile ecosystem. To make matters worse, a cataclysmic volcanic eruption struck the island shortly after, burying the entire region under meters of scorching ash and sealing off the sulfur vents forever. Today, bioarchaeologists analyzing the skeletal remains of ancient plague survivors have recovered unique chemical signatures unknown in any modern fungi, a testament to a miraculous mushroom lost to human overextraction and natural fury. Number 3. The Abyssal Star Orchid. The third lost marvel in our journey of ancient history does not belong to the sunlit surface of the earth. Instead, it grew in a realm completely devoid of light, hundreds of feet deep within dark, water-filled limestone sinkholes and underwater caves. Ancient records whispered of it as the Abyssal Star Orchid. Deep within the jungle lowlands, hidden beneath subterranean cave systems, these waters formed an environment too hostile for ordinary life. In total pitch blackness, the Abyssal Star Orchid anchored itself to damp, submerged rock walls. Most remarkably, because sunlight was entirely absent, the plant evolved a specialized bioluminescent system. Its delicate petals glowed with a faint, pulsing pale blue aura. This wasn't magic, but a natural chemical reaction, involving luciferin and specialized enzymes reacting with mineral-rich cave water, producing living light in the deep shadows. Centuries ago, an advanced civilization flourished across the surrounding region. Yet, a devastating neurological affliction plagued both their warriors and nobility. Severe battlefield spinal injuries or deep systemic infections left victims completely paralyzed, their limbs permanently locked and unresponsive. For generations, imperial medicine had no way to repair severed or damaged nervous systems. Everything changed when local pearl divers exploring the deep underwater caves stumbled upon the glowing orchids. Believing them to be divine lights of the water spirits, they brought specimens up to the royal court. When court physicians ground down the orchid's subterranean tubers and administered them to paralyzed commanders, modern medical history witnessed an unbelievable breakthrough. Men who had lain bedridden and paralyzed for months slowly regained movement in their fingers and toes within weeks, eventually walking unaided. Scientifically, this was no myth. The roots of the Abyssal Star Orchid contained naturally occurring neurotrophic factors that stimulated rapid nerve cell regeneration. While mammalian nerves typically struggle to heal, the orchid's rare botanical alkaloids rapidly repaired damaged myelin sheaths and reconnected broken neural synapses, a masterclass in natural regenerative biology. Tragically, this life-saving power sealed the orchid's doom. As the empire expanded, ruthless exploitation drained the deep caves. Worse still, surface mining operations unleashed toxic industrial runoff, heavy metals, and lead directly into the underground water tables feeding the cave systems. Extremely sensitive to changes in water chemistry and pH balance, the glowing orchids began to dim. Within a short span, the underwater ecosystem collapsed, and the abyssal star orchid faded into permanent darkness. Today, cave explorers and geologists occasionally find fossilized root impressions along dry ancient cave walls, remnants of a lost subterranean light that modern medicine could only dream of recreating. Number 4. The Sand-Buried Crystal Root. Leaving behind dark underwater caves, our fourth historical mystery takes us to the most punishing environment on Earth, the scorching, unforgiving expanses of ancient deserts. Long before established trade routes crossed these dunes, desert nomads and early caravan travelers spoke in hushed tones of a legendary plant known as the sand-buried crystal root. To the untrained eye, the desert offered no sign of it. For most of the year, the plant remained completely hidden deep beneath the shifting sands, sending up a single, fragile brownish leaf only during rare, fleeting desert rains. Finding it was literally equivalent to searching for a needle in a haystack. Its true value lay buried feet below the surface. Its specialized root structure acted as a masterclass in moisture retention. When unearthed, instead of fibrous wood, the root resembled a clear chunk of natural ice or a flawless quartz crystal, earning it the poetic name, crystal root. Thousands of years ago, before the establishment of the Great Silk Road, ancient trade routes crisscrossed these deadly arid expanses. The greatest terror for travelers wasn't just dehydration, but the lethal bite of venomous desert vipers and scorpions. In those ancient times, a single bite meant certain, agonizing death as toxins flooded the bloodstream, shutting down the kidneys and causing rapid organ failure. There were no antidotes. One day, a caravan lost its way during a brutal sandstorm, running desperately low on water. Spotting a solitary desert leaf, a desperate merchant began digging in hopes of finding underground moisture. Instead of water, they unearthed the crystal root. Parched with thirst, they chewed the translucent root flesh. Miraculously, among the travelers was a merchant dying from a venomous snake bite. Within hours of consuming the root's liquid, his body violently expelled the toxins, his fever broke, and he walked away completely cured. Word of the desert's miraculous antidote spread rapidly across ancient trade hubs. From a physiological standpoint, this was no myth. The interior of the sand-buried crystal root functioned as a natural botanical hydrogel. This gel not only locked away pure water but acted like a biological magnet, packed with enzymes capable of binding to heavy metals and venom proteins. When ingested, the botanical extract flooded the bloodstream, acting remarkably like a modern dialysis machine, neutralizing venoms and accelerating their elimination through sweat and urine while flooding exhausted kidneys with restorative minerals. Yet, this life-saving marvel could not survive human greed. Desert rulers and wealthy traders sent squads of laborers to harvest the roots indiscriminately. Because the plant required years to mature in such a harsh climate, it was driven rapidly toward extinction. The final blow came from the earth itself. Massive tectonic shifts altered ancient underground fossil aquifers beneath the deserts, drying up the deep water sources the crystal roots depended on. Deprived of moisture, the remaining roots withered away beneath the sands forever. Today, desert ecologists and paleontologists occasionally unearth petrified crystalline root fossils deep beneath the Sahara and Gobi sands. Chemical analysis reveals organic compounds astonishingly similar to modern clinical antidotes. Had we preserved the sand-buried crystal root, modern medicine would possess an ultimate, natural defense against poisoning and kidney failure. Instead, it remains a ghost of the dunes. Number 5. The Silver Mist Drinker. Our fifth historical mystery takes us far above the ground, into a lost world that once thrived near the equator. Millennia ago, towering ancient rainforests soared toward the sky, and high up on the uppermost branches, the canopy layer, there grew a rare epiphytic plant that ancient indigenous chronicles called the silver mist drinker. This remarkable plant did not grow in soil. It inhabited the highest, sun-drenched canopy where dense clouds and mountain mists constantly rolled through. Its leaves were thick and densely coated with microscopic, silver-tinted hairs that shimmered in the light. These silver hairs served a vital purpose. They acted as natural condensers, capturing moisture directly from floating clouds and mists to sustain the plant. Furthermore, the leaves continually emitted a sharp, highly aromatic botanical vapor designed to ward off encroaching fungi and bacteria. Centuries ago, a devastating respiratory plague struck the sprawling city-states at the base of these ancient rainforests. As industrial copper smelting and metalwork expanded, thick smoke filled the air, combining with dense crowds to make the plague spread like wildfire. Victims suffered from severe pulmonary congestion, drowning in their own fluids as their airways locked shut. No herbal remedy of the era could break the congestion. Fate shifted when a group of timber cutters working deep in the jungle fell ill, collapsing near exhaustion. By pure chance, a massive ancient tree fell nearby, crashing down and showering the stricken men with branches of the silver mist drinker. As the crushed leaves released their potent, aromatic vapors into the damp air, the dying men suddenly gasped for breath. Their airways opened, they coughed up thick blockages, and they miraculously recovered from the brink of death. Word of the discovery quickly reached the imperial court. Scientifically, this event aligns seamlessly with modern pharmacology. The leaves of the silver mist drinker contained concentrated, volatile essential oils remarkably similar in action to powerful modern bronchodilators used for asthma. When inhaled as a natural steam or aerosol, these organic compounds, rich in specialized terpenes, instantly relaxed constricted bronchial tubes while neutralizing bacteria in the lungs. It was nature's ultimate respiratory rescue treatment. Tragically, human ambition brought about its ruin. Desperate to harvest the cure, rulers sent teams into the jungle. Because the plants grew high atop massive 300-foot trees, ignorant collectors simply chopped down the ancient rainforest giants to reach the canopy below. Simultaneously, large-scale deforestation altered the regional microclimate. Without the vast forest canopy, the mists and clouds dissipated, leaving the fragile silver mist drinker with no moisture to survive. One by one, they withered away. Today, amber fossil deposits from ancient rainforests occasionally trap tiny, perfectly preserved silver leaves of this lost canopy dweller. Laboratory analysis reveals respiratory compounds far more potent than modern eucalyptus or camphor. Had human society practiced sustainable forestry instead of wholesale destruction, the silver mist drinker would be an invaluable ally against modern air pollution and respiratory disease. Instead, it vanished into the mist of time. Number 6. The Glacier Stone Lotus. Our sixth historical mystery takes us to the most freezing, inhospitable heights on Earth, towering alpine mountain peaks and jagged glacial crevasses where ordinary life cannot endure. Yet, nestled deep within ancient permafrost, there once grew a breathtaking botanical marvel that mountain nomads called the Glacier Stone Lotus. Resembling a delicate lotus blossom carved from crystal-clear glass, this plant did not grow in soil. Instead, its roots anchored deep into ancient ice sheets, absorbing rare mineral nutrients released by slow glacial melting. Its petals and leaves were structured like microscopic ice crystals, shimmering brilliantly when struck by sunlight. It possessed an astonishing resistance to sub-zero temperatures. Thousands of years ago, harsh winters gripped the high-altitude nomadic settlements of Central Asia. When sub-zero temperatures plunged, severe alpine fevers and hypothermic infections swept through the villages, causing devastating loss of life. Traditional village healers, braving deadly freezing winds, climbed the treacherous glacial ridges to harvest the glacier stone lotus. When the extracted essence was administered to patients suffering from fatal alpine fevers, an astonishing transformation occurred. The patient's body temperature dropped rapidly, their heartbeat slowed to a mere 2 or 3 beats per minute, and breathing became virtually imperceptible. To the untrained eye, they appeared clinically dead, a state of suspended animation. Yet, as spring thawed the mountains weeks later, these patients slowly regained consciousness. Having entered a deep, protective metabolic pause, their bodies had starved out the infection without burning vital cellular energy, allowing them to wake up completely cured. From a physiological standpoint, this was no myth. The glacier stone lotus contained exceptionally high concentrations of natural antifreeze glycoproteins, AFGPs, compounds similar to those found in polar fish. When ingested, these proteins prevented cellular frostbite while dropping human metabolism into a state of therapeutic hypothermia, protecting vital organs from tissue death. Tragically, rumors of this anti-death flower reached the ears of imperial rulers. Misinterpreting the plant as a mythical fountain of youth, emperors sought to use it to induce long-term sleep, hoping to wake centuries later. They forced mountain tribes to strip the glaciers bare, ripping the delicate plants up by their roots. The final blow came from a changing climate. As global temperatures gradually rose at the end of the ancient era, the ancient glaciers retreated and melted away. Deprived of their frozen permafrost environment, the glacier stone lotus populations perished entirely. Today, glaciologists and researchers occasionally discover ancient ice mummies preserved within high-altitude glaciers, their cells showing miraculous preservation. Chemical analysis reveals traces of those lost antifreeze proteins. Had we protected the glacier stone lotus, modern medicine and space exploration might possess the key to controlled suspended animation. Instead, it remains frozen forever in the history of lost science. Number 7. The Jade du Gras. Our seventh historical mystery steps away from harsh deserts and freezing glaciers, leading us into serene, hidden valleys where nature flourished in quiet harmony. Tucked away in misty mossy forests where sunlight filtered softly through ancient canopies and crystal streams bubbled over smooth stones, there once grew a delicate, vibrant green grass known to local villagers as Jade du Gras. This unique grass did not grow just anywhere. It thrived exclusively along the shaded banks of pristine mountain streams. At dawn, as the first rays of sunlight touched the foliage, tiny droplets formed at the very tips of its blades, droplets that gleamed with the pure, translucent green of polished jade. The rural communities living within these secluded valleys embraced a quiet, slow-living lifestyle, entirely free of greed or malice. They viewed the Jade du Gras as a sacred gift of the earth, guarding the crystal streams that nourished it with deep reverence. Whenever villagers suffered deep cuts from forestry work or broken bones from falls, they would gently collect the jade-colored morning dew drops from the grass blades and apply them directly to their wounds. Within hours, bleeding stopped completely, fresh skin cells regenerated at an astonishing rate, and injuries healed in days without leaving a single scar. When word of this miraculous healing grass reached the military commanders of a sprawling expansionist empire, everything changed. For an army constantly locked in brutal warfare, a plant capable of instantly accelerating tissue repair and returning wounded soldiers to the battlefield was the ultimate tactical prize. Scientifically, this was no magic potion. The Jade du Gras possessed an extraordinary capacity for phytoremediation, filtering and concentrating rare minerals and organic compounds from clean mountain water. The exudate droplets at its leaf tips contained a potent mix of natural antioxidants and rare growth factors that stimulated human stem cell proliferation. When applied to damaged tissue, it triggered rapid cellular regeneration, functioning as a natural precursor to modern tissue engineering. Tragically, the empire's forces marched into the peaceful valley, displacing the villagers and harvesting the Jade du Gras indiscriminately. The arrival of an entire military camp brought heavy trampling, waste runoff, and mud that clouded the crystal-clear streams. Because the grass relied entirely on immaculate water purity and balanced soil chemistry, the delicate ecosystem rapidly collapsed. The vibrant green blades turned brown, withered, and died out completely, leaving behind a barren landscape. Today, paleobotanists examining ancient sedimentary rock layers along dried-up stream beds occasionally uncover fossilized impressions of this remarkable grass. Laboratory reconstructions of its chemical signature reveal tissue healing properties far more advanced than modern aloe vera. Human ambition and environmental destruction turned the Jade du Gras into a phantom of the past. Number 8. The Dragon Eye Fruit. Our eighth historical mystery takes us high above the ground, into the sun-drenched canopy of ancient tropical rainforests. There, soaring atop massive trees that pierced the jungle roof, grew a rare and magnificent fruit-bearing tree known to indigenous rainforest tribes as the dragon eye fruit. Reaching heights of over 150 feet, the tree demanded maximum sunlight and precise humidity to thrive. Its golden outer shell was covered in intricate, dragon-like scales. When sliced open, the fruit revealed a translucent, ruby-red pulp surrounding a dark, perfectly centered seed that resembled a dragon's eye. It bore fruit only once a year under hyperspecific climatic conditions. Centuries ago, a sprawling ancient civilization flourishing near the edge of the rainforest was struck by a devastating wave of severe liver disease. Caused by toxic mineral contamination in local water wells and accidental dietary toxins, victims suffered from advanced liver failure, turning violently jaundiced and succumbing to fluid buildup within days. Imperial medicine stood powerless. Fate intervened when a young royal prince, hunting deep within the jungle, fell desperately ill from severe poisoning. On the verge of death, he stumbled upon a fallen dragon-eye fruit and consumed its flesh. Miraculously, by the following morning, his fever broke, the severe yellow tint of jaundice began to fade, and his liver rapidly purged the accumulated toxins, restoring him to full health. Scientifically, this was no myth. The pulp and seed matrices of the dragon-eye fruit contained extraordinarily potent antioxidant compounds, far exceeding modern silymarin extracts, alongside rare amino acids that stimulate rapid hepatocyte, liver cell, regeneration. When ingested, the botanical compounds halted DNA damage in liver cells and created a protective cellular membrane barrier against lingering toxins. Tragically, the discovery of this miraculous liver cure spelled its doom. Empowered by greed, regional authorities dispatched labor crews into the jungle. Because the fruit grew high in the unreachable canopy, ignorant harvesters simply chopped down the ancient rainforest giants to harvest the fruit in bulk. Simultaneously, widespread deforestation and shifting weather patterns destroyed the delicate rainforest humidity the trees required. Before the remaining trees could adapt or fruit again, logging and forest fires erased them completely from the earth. Today, rainforest botanists and amber researchers examining ancient fossilized forest layers occasionally find traces of this legendary flora. Laboratory analysis confirms its biochemical structure held the blueprint for advanced liver therapeutics. Human overexploitation sacrificed a priceless natural remedy for fleeting imperial gain. Number 9. The Celestial Star Tree. Our ninth historical mystery brings us deep into the shaded understory of ancient, damp rainforests, where a low-growing botanical marvel thrived away from direct sunlight. Revered in ancient herbal texts as the celestial star tree, this unique woody plant possessed an uncanny defense against the deadliest hazards of the jungle floor. The plant did not require intense sunlight. Instead, it preferred the dark, humid loam beneath towering canopy trees, spreading out distinct, five-pointed star-shaped leaves. At night, these leaves emitted a faint, pale golden luminescence. Furthermore, the plant's bark and roots continuously emitted a sharp, highly aromatic fragrance that instinctively repelled venomous creatures, keeping vipers and pit vipers far from its immediate vicinity. Centuries ago, survival for jungle hunters and travelers hinged on avoiding the rapid strikes of highly venomous snakes. In that era, a single bite meant venom flooded the circulatory system, inducing rapid tissue destruction and cardiac arrest within an hour, a fatal certainty with no known cure. One day, a hunter bitten by a deadly forest viper collapsed, hovering near death. His companions rushed him to a cluster of celestial star trees, hurriedly crushing the roots and applying the extract directly to the fang wounds while forcing him to swallow the bitter liquid. Miraculously, within an hour, the dark, spreading necrosis halted, the black venom lines began to fade, and the hunter regained stable breathing, walking away fully recovered. Word of the plant's antivenom properties spread like wildfire across the region. From a biochemical standpoint, this was no magic spell. The roots and leaves of the celestial star tree contained powerful, naturally occurring neutralizing enzymes and organic alkaloid compounds. When introduced to the bloodstream, these botanical molecules bound directly to toxic snake venom proteins, instantaneously neutralizing their destructive capabilities. Long before modern laboratories began harvesting antivenom from animal serums, nature had perfected a fast-acting, plant-based antivenom. Tragically, human greed once again dismantled a masterpiece of natural medicine. Rulers and royal apothecaries sent massive expeditions into the forest to harvest the celestial star tree indiscriminately, stripping the roots completely bare. The final blow came when regional authorities cleared vast tracts of the ancient forest to establish agricultural plantations. Deprived of the dense canopy shade and specific soil moisture it required, the shade-loving celestial star tree withered under direct sunlight, vanishing into extinction. Today, paleobotanists analyzing fossilized forest soils occasionally recover micro-remains and pollen signatures of the lost star tree. Laboratory projections confirm its biochemical makeup held vital keys for modern toxicology and antivenom science. Human short-sightedness turned a profound biological shield into a forgotten myth. Number 10. The Dragon King's Claw Root. We have reached the final chapter of our journey, the 10th and most legendary botanical mystery in our series. Deep beneath the Earth's surface, hidden within ancient volcanic rock layers and mineral-rich subterranean water channels hundreds of feet underground, there once slumbered a rare subterranean tuber known in imperial chronicles as the Dragon King's claw root. Unlike typical plants, this subterranean tuber never sent up leaves above ground. It thrived exclusively near ancient volcanic vents and deep mineral fractures. Its twisted shape resembled the scaled claws of a mythical dragon, hence its evocative name. Encased in a rough, charcoal black skin, slicing open the tuber revealed a glowing, diamond-like golden interior. It grew at an agonizingly slow pace, barely fractionally expanding over decades. Centuries ago, the aging emperors and nobility of a powerful ancient empire suffered the inevitable ravages of time, failing immune systems, severe joint degradation, and cellular breakdown. No royal physician could offer a true restorative remedy to reverse aging or extend vitality. Everything changed when subterranean mining crews exploring deep underground cave systems accidentally unearned the Dragon King's claw root. Brought to the imperial court, royal apothecaries dried and prepared the tuber into a potent elixir for the reigning emperor. To the astonishment of all, the aging ruler regained remarkable vigor, maintaining physical stamina and vitality well past his 80th year. Word of the ultimate longevity root spread like wildfire across the civilized world. Scientifically, this was no myth of immortality. Biochemical analysis of the tuber reveals an ultra-concentrated profile of rare saponins and deep-acting antioxidants capable of protecting cellular telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of DNA strands, from premature shortening. Cellular aging is fundamentally driven by the repetitive shortening of telomeres as cells divide. The unique biocompounds within the Dragon King's claw root possessed the natural capacity to shield and preserve telomere integrity. It represented the pinnacle of anti-aging science that modern geneticists still strive to replicate today. Tragically, the immense value of the subterranean root sealed its doom. Driven by an obsession with eternal youth, imperial rulers dispatched legions of forced laborers into the deep cave networks to strip the subterranean vaults bare. Because the tuber required centuries to mature under ultra-specific geochemical conditions, indiscriminate harvesting obliterated its populations. Simultaneously, extensive industrial mining and subterranean oil exploration altered deep groundwater tables and thermal balances. Deprived of their stable subterranean environment, the remaining Dragon King's claw roots withered away in the dark, lost forever. Today, geologists and subterranean cave researchers occasionally recover fossilized ancient tubers embedded deep within mineral rock layers. Laboratory testing confirms their complex chemical architecture holds priceless insights for modern regenerative medicine and anti-aging research. Human vanity and the unyielding pursuit of immortality destroyed the Earth's ultimate biological shield against time. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through the 10-part series of lost botanical legends here on Evening Chronicles. Nature once offered us breathtaking remedies, yet human greed and short-sighted destruction stripped them away, leaving us only with history and echoes. If you enjoyed uncovering these forgotten mysteries with us, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss our upcoming documentaries. Stay healthy, stay curious, and see you in the next video.